Welcome back, Holistic Soul Sisters. My name is Mandy Rose. I'm a holistic health coach, spiritual mentor, and astrologer. And today we're going to talk all about the full moon in Libra happening on March 26th at 2:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go ahead and light some sage as we talk about this astrological wheel and why I'm so excited about this full moon in Libra. So this full moon is actually going to be focusing all about our relationships, the relationship we have with ourselves and the relationship that we have with others. It's making some beautiful aspects involving the planet Mars, Venus, Chiron, our wounded warrior, and Saturn, and our North Node, our future destiny and our karma. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So when we look at this astrological wheel, we know it's a full moon because we can see that the sun is directly across from the moon. The sun is at 8 degrees of Aries, and the moon is at 8 degrees of Libra. Libra is the zodiac sign of relationships. It's represented by the scales. It wants balance. It wants harmony. It's the diplomat of the zodiac. It wants things to be equal, fair, and just. So with the moon here and our moon representing our emotions, at this full moon, we want to feel like the energy that we're giving to others is equal to the energy we're receiving from others. This is how our emotions are going to feel balanced. And so this full moon is really asking us to analyze our relationships. Are you giving too much? Are you taking too much? Are you feeling like things are fair in the relationships that you have within your life? Now, I want you to think about this for just 1 second. When you look up this weekend and stare at that full moon, what you are seeing when you look at the moon is actually a reflection of the sunlight, right? The moon doesn't emit its own light. The moon is just simply reflecting to us on planet Earth the light that is coming from the sun. So the coolest thing about this full moon is when we're looking at the moon in the sky, we are not only going to see the sun being reflected in the moon, but also Venus and Chiron. Because over here in Aries, we have Venus, the sun, and Chiron, who is our wounded warrior, our healer, all holding hands in Aries at 8 degrees at the time of this full moon. Now, this is totally beautiful because Libra over here on this side of the astrological wheel represents our relationship with others. But Aries over here is actually the zodiac sign representing ourself, who we are. It's our core. And it also is representative of the parts of our life from birth until age 7. Aries is the zodiac sign of confidence and ambition and our fearlessness. It wants us to go for those dreams without any restriction. Think about it. When you were under the age of 7, you really didn't have a lot of fear. You just kind of went for it. You went to play on the playground, you went to jump off of things, and you just went for it. Aries is the zodiac sign of ourselves. Now we have the sun here, which is our core. It's who we are. And we have Venus, which is the planet of love, of beauty, of self-love, of our values. And then we have Chiron, who is our wounded warrior, our inner healer. Chiron has been here in Aries for the last couple of years, and he's going to stay here and hang out for the next couple years. So Chiron has actually made a home here in Aries, saying, hey, we have to focus on ourself, right? Aries is ourself, and it's this part of us that's representative of under the age of 7, our inner child, our wounded inner child. Chiron is hanging out here, making a home, saying we really need to focus on this parts of our life. And I find this so interesting because you've probably heard this term inner child, healing our inner child, our inner wounds, our core wounds. It's becoming way more mainstream because Chiron's actually making a home here, bringing this up in the collective, bringing this out into our consciousness so that we can actually heal this part of ourselves. And if we heal this inner child, these wounds and these attachments and these things that we've been programmed since under the age of 7, we can actually have better relationships. We can have more harmony, more balance in our relationships, Libra. So this full moon is just so beautiful right now because it's bringing out some healing. It's bringing in Venus, bringing up more self-love, and it's bringing out the parts of us that's saying, hey, we have to have a balance. We have to have a lot of self-love, and we got to care for ourselves before we give and we pour into others, right? So we really want to pay attention to these main themes being reflected in the moon. So remember, when you're looking up at the moon this weekend, you are going to see a reflection of the sun, our core in Aries, being fearless, being more confident. You're going to receive a reflection of Venus saying, have more self-love. Venus in Aries is saying, have more passion, have more self-love for yourself, for that inner child that still lives within you. And you're also going to see a reflection of Chiron, our wounded warrior, bringing us healing, bringing us to the depths of our soul that's saying, I want to heal this piece of me that was wounded when I was young. So that is such a beautiful aspect of this full moon right now. However, if we pop back over here to the full moon, we're going to see this blue line right here. The moon is making what we call in astrology a trine aspect. It's when two planets have a really good conversation with each other in relation to where they are in the sky to one another. So when we have a trine, it's a relationship between two planets that's very supportive, very harmonious, very helpful of each other. So we can see here that this moon is making a trine down here to Mars and the North Node in Gemini. Now, Mars is the planet of our drive, of our passion, of our ambition. It's what gets us to our goals. It helps us see the vision and take the action, the necessary steps that we need to move towards our goals. And Mars, this week leading up to this full moon, Mars just did a crossover right on top of our North Node. The North Node is our future destiny. It's our purpose. It's our mission. It's why we're on this planet. And this North Node right now is the collective energy. It's what everyone on this planet is doing collectively together to move us as a consciousness, as a collective group of people towards our purpose, towards the direction of the future. And so we have Mars dancing over the North Node at the time of this full moon, saying, if we heal ourselves and bring ourselves more self-love, then we're going to have more fair and equal and just relationships. Then we're going to be able to walk towards our North Node. Then we're going to be able to walk towards our destiny. We're going to have passion and drive. Mars is like that fire that fuels us. It's that inner fire that we carry around with us that drives us forward. And that's making a beautiful aspect to the full moon in Libra, saying we have to have fair and equal relationships to keep the fire going so that we can keep moving towards our goals. If you have relationships that are not balanced, you're giving too much, right? Let's say you have a relationship where you are pouring way too much energy into it. It is draining your inner fire, and then you're not going to be able to go towards your North Node. Equally, if you don't have a balance of self-love, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not being selfish, Aries is the sign of being selfish. If you caught our astrological New Year event, we talked about being selfish and why that's so important during Aries season to set us up for success. Because without being selfish, without taking care of ourselves, without having self-love, without having confidence, we're not going to be able to find balance in our lives to help lead us to our purpose, to help lead us and carry that fire forward. So hopefully that makes sense. This trine is a very beautiful aspect. Now, the third beautiful thing that's happening during this full moon is not only do we have a harmonious, beautiful aspect to our North Node and our passion Mars, but we're making the same beautiful aspect to Saturn. We have a trine from this full moon that's reflecting the Sun, Venus, and Chiron, making a trine, a beautiful aspect to Saturn, Lord Karma. But this time, Lord Karma, dad, tough love dad of the astrological wheel, is in a really good position during this full moon. He's been teaching us a lot of tough lessons. He's been making us create a lot of structure in our lives and bringing in a lot of tough lessons that we need. However, during this full moon, he's actually saying boundaries. Boundaries is the magical word that our tough love dad Saturn is saying at this full moon. We need boundaries with others to make sure that we have equal energy exchanges. We need to have boundaries with ourselves. We need to make sure that we say, no, after 8 p.m., I'm going to have this boundary with myself that I will not go on social media, that I will not respond to messages for work, right? Boundaries with ourselves and boundaries with others, creating a harmonious aspect to lead us to our destiny, to help us move forward into the next chapter. When the sun moves into Aries, we have what's called the astrological new year. And this is the beginning of a new year, a new chapter, a new cycle, a new beginning. And so in order to move towards our North Node and have this new chapter in our life, this new turning of the page, we got to reassess some of these relationships. full moons are all about releasing and letting go. So we got to let go of some of these negative aspects. We have to bring in some of the positive aspects so that we can move forward and turn the page into the new chapter of our lives that we're moving in together as a collective. Now, because this trine exists from the full moon to Mars and the North Node, and it exists towards Saturn, we also have the same trine happening right here between Saturn and the North Node. So this is a beautiful aspect in astrology. We have a triangle. Now, if you think to other religions, spirituality, even astrology, anything that happens in threes is very magical, is very special. 3 is a sacred number in many religions. So when we have 3 aspects that are all harmonious, we have to really focus at this full moon to complete these lessons, to take these things into account so we can move forward. So after all that, you're probably wondering, what should I even be doing at this full moon, right? How does this apply to my life? So here are 3 things you could do during this full moon to help use this energy to your highest potential. Number 1, I would write a list of all the relationships that you have in your life. With the full moon happening in Libra, Libra being scales and justice and wanting balance, go ahead and write a list of all the relationships that you have in your life. Friendships, family, romantic, business acquaintances, acquaintances that you just know, coworkers, anyone that you have a relationship to, or even people that maybe you used to have a relationship with, but it's been a little disconnected. Just do a massive dump of all the people in your life that you have a relationship with. And then next to them, go ahead and put either a plus sign, a minus sign, or a heart. Plus sign being a relationship that you give way too much energy to, that you really pour a lot of energy in and you feel like you give more than they give you. Then put a negative next to every relationship that you feel like you maybe need to give a little bit more energy to. Many times we lose relationships because we don't make them a priority and we don't make that other person feel like we are invested in them and that we care about them. So assess the relationships that maybe you need to pour a little bit more energy into. And then go ahead and put a heart next to all the relationships that you feel are equal, fair, and balanced. Do an inventory assessment at this full moon and then go ahead, because full moons are about release the parts of you that are giving too much to certain relationships, and also release and forgive the parts of yourself that maybe have been neglecting some relationships, and put some steps in your calendar that you can do to foster and care for those relationships that need a little bit extra giving from you. Number 2, I would focus on where the sun is and focus on some self-care. So I would do a really nice self-care ritual at this full moon, or maybe do an inner child meditation. We have Chiron here helping us heal our inner child. I'll post below in the description box one of my favorite inner child meditations, and then write your inner child a letter. This is something I love to do on a regular basis. Write your inner child a letter, reminding her or him how much you love them, how much you support them, how much you have their back. Write your inner child a letter saying how much you forgive them for the mistakes and the faults that you've had in the past. A beautiful letter to your inner child can really shift your inner perspective and your subconscious in ways that you can't even imagine. And then number 3, because Saturn is involved in this full moon, I would focus on boundaries. These are so important for our relationships and for moving forward in the next chapter of our lives. Do you even know your boundaries? Do you even know what for you is a hard pass in relationships? If not, take some time at this full moon to write them down. What boundaries do you have in relationship with others? For instance, do you need to create stronger boundaries around your parents and saying, no, I'm an adult and I need to do things my own way. And every time you try to give me suggestions when I don't ask, I'm going to end the conversation? Or maybe you need to create stronger boundaries in your romantic relationships. Do you even have them? Does your partner even know what your boundaries are, right? If you're single, make a list of boundaries that you have when you meet new partners. For instance, if someone lies to you once, maybe you'll take time to understand them and give them a chance to explain. But if they lied to you twice, that is a hard boundary and you are out, right? Maybe your boundary is if someone smokes cigarettes. That's a no, that's a boundary, there's no exception. Make this list of boundaries for others so that you can be very clear with yourself and with the other people in your life so that they don't have to play guessing games. And then also create boundaries for yourself. This is very, very important. Having these boundaries in your self-care ritual or around your own routine and lifestyle helps protect yourself. So maybe you need to have a hard boundary at 8 p.m. that you don't check social media anymore, or that you don't respond to texts or messages from work. Maybe you need to create a boundary around your alone time. Do you need to create more alone time where you don't let people distract you, where you don't let people take away from the moments that you need for your own inner healing, right? Not only do we have to have balance and harmony with others in our relationship with others, but balance and harmony within ourselves. And we have Chiron here supporting us and helping heal our inner child. We have Saturn giving us the green light and saying, hey, amazing things are going to happen once you create boundary and structure in your life. And we have this North Node, our future destiny, the direction we're supposed to be walking, activated with Mars, our passion and our desires. So everything is working so beautifully right now at this full moon to bring you healing, to bring you guidance. So take some time this weekend, do one of those 3 things or all 3 things that I suggested to really activate and download this energy. I hope this video not only inspired you to take some action this weekend around these themes, but also helps open up your mind to what you need to do to move towards your North Node destiny. If you're a part of our Holistic Soul Sister Facebook group, I would love for you guys to share with me any videos or pictures that you take during your rituals this weekend. If you have your 2021 Retrograde Astrology Journal, feel free to post any of your journal prompts in the group. I love to see where you guys are in your journey and help support you along in that. And if you aren't part of our private Facebook community yet, go ahead and find the link below in the description box. Request to join and I will accept you. It's a community of women who are interested in holistic health and healing while also working on our spiritual growth and our personal development. So we really love to support one another, cheer each other on, and be that soul sister that we sometimes don't find in our direct communities. So join us in our group and feel free to share this video with anyone you think that needs a reminder of self-love or balance in their relationships. And make sure you hit subscribe and like, and I will see you guys in the next video.